Hi, welcome to Learning Spark. My name is Jenny. Today we're going to be talking about expressive language. Expressive language is the ability to use language to communicate. One thing that you can look for in your child when you're considering expressive language, and if they're ready for kindergarten, is if your child is engaging in conversations with both adults and with peers. It's really important to check both of those, because if they're doing one or the other, it can kind of give you some information about where they might be struggling and what kinds of activities you can do to help them. I've had students before who are great at talking to adults, but they really struggle to talk with their peers. So what that typically looks like is they'll talk to adults about, hey, look at this, hey, look at that, but they'll get in a situation socially with their peers and you won't see them interact. You'll see them maybe share toys, maybe pass toys back and forth, but they don't actually converse back and forth. And that typically, if it doesn't express itself as an issue right away, socially and with friendships, it typically expresses an issue when they get into kindergarten and are asked to start creating writing. They typically have a lot of writer's block and struggle to construct their ideas and get them on paper. So it's really, really important to check your child and observe, are they conversing with both adults and with peers? Because that's going to tell you how capable they are of expressing themselves. Another thing that you're going to want to do to develop this skill is to talk about your child's interests. So if your child has a very specific interest like Power Rangers or Paw Patrol, Doc McStuffins, any of those things, you want to talk about those things. You want to have them just ask them sometime and say, hey, what did you think about that episode? And see what they say to you. You want to listen to see if they're telling you anything about the characters, about the plot, about the setting, about any aspect of the show. You want them to go into detail and express themselves. If they're not able to do that, it would be great to prompt them like, oh, hey, who was the character in that one? Or who was the person in that one? Or where were they? What was the villain's name? Any of those questions are really going to help kind of guide your child into expressing themselves. Another thing that you can do with your child is to play with them. It's very simple. Play make-believe and ask lots of questions. So if you're playing make-believe and let's say you have a dinosaur involved and the dinosaur goes from the floor and jumps up to the table, and your child makes that motion and you just say, oh wait, I'm confused. Why did Dino jump up there? I don't get it. I forgot, sorry. And then see what they tell you. It's really important to see what they know and what they can tell you. The last thing I want you to check with your child is, what do they do in a social setting? So there's two different types of social settings that we're considering. Let's just say you go to a friend's house for a play date, and this is an adult that you know and you go with, or you drop them off and ask your friend about it later. Try to notice, do they talk to the parent of the house? Do they ask them for things, or are they afraid to ask for things? And do they talk to the child that they're having a play date with? Are they interacting through make-believe? Are they talking about their interests? Are they, what kind of conversations are they having? It's important to notice those things, because if they're able to express their needs to an adult, that's great. If they can express it to multiple adults, that's even better. If they can express their needs and their wants and their ideas to both adults and children, that's when they're becoming an expert at expressive language. So it's really important to watch for those social settings and those skills to come out in those social settings. So why does this matter as we're preparing our children for kindergarten? The kindergarten standard that I want to draw your attention to is called Speaking and Listening Kindergarten Standard number 1. It says that students should be able to converse about topics and texts with adults and peers. So that specific skill right there kind of covers what we talked about today. Your child needs to be able to converse. They need to be able to talk about topics, so their interests, and about text, about stories. So it's really important that you are observing what kind of settings your child is comfortable expressing themselves in. And if there's a deficit, it's really important to try to help guide them with guiding questions. Thank you so much for coming today. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon.